Good evening from Tamarindo, Costa Rica. I wanted to record so that I can show just a little bit of this sunset right now. It's tough to see, but that's what it looks like off of our deck. Every single night. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you'll notice by the title of this one, I'm going to do something that makes me uncomfortable. And that's this. That's my cold plunge, which is basically a blow-up tube. You can see I'm already prepping, have been prepping the ice for about 10 minutes or so here. And I'm going to drop some more in there, just to show you that I am putting ice in here, and that was in fact ice. I don't have a thermometer yet, so I cannot tell what the actual temperature is, but I'm pretty good at taking an educated guess now, because I've done this enough times. I would say it's probably kicking around 10 degrees, I want to say. So we got one more big full bag of ice, and then this is all full of ice as well from the freezer just right now. So we're going to drop this in there, and you'll see that the water is actually quite warm here. So this ice like melts really fast, and ultimately, if I wanted this really cold, I would freeze a whole bunch of water bottles or something and let it sit there for like a good half an hour. But I just quite frankly didn't have time to do that tonight. So I had a few options. One, say, oh, I don't have time to do it tonight. I'm going to miss the sunset. Maybe I'll just do it another day. Or two, say, go do it today and then do that again in a couple of days, because I can make enough ice in the freezer here within about 3 days to be able to get this to a nice cold temperature where I can get all of the benefits of cold exposure. And let me show you now. There we go. Nice soupy mix that's just getting chillier by the second. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit for a minute or so before I actually get in. But I do want to talk about this topic because it comes up quite frequently whenever I talk with people, especially if I meet new people. It always seems to come up, the whole idea of cold plunging and cold exposure, and you know, the Wim Hof day that I went and did, and the extremely conscious man, and the inner circle, and the experience that we have coming up in Costa Rica, and the fact that of course it's going to include cold exposure because it is one form of extreme, right? As is doing extreme adventure things, as is doing something that most people don't think of as extreme, which is actually being truthful with yourself and recognizing when you get to take ownership and responsibility for your life. And sometimes you don't like what you see when you actually do that. And we had a call today. Actually, let me back that up for a second. So one of the guys that I met last night, super nice guy. He's a parent of one of the kids that Logan goes to school with. His response to it was, I don't do cold. I just don't do cold. I'm from Britain. I can't handle the cold. It's not for me. Is it even good for you? I've heard there's lots of reasons why you shouldn't do it, that it's actually bad for you. All of these different things. And now look, I'm not here to push anybody to go do anything that would physically harm them. Of course not. But whenever I hear that, I do have to challenge, what's the truth behind that? Because what I hear is, I don't like to do hard things. I don't like to put myself in situations where I feel like I might be out of my comfort zone, because quite frankly, I'm comfortable with my life. I'm comfortable with my diet. I'm comfortable with my body shape. I'm comfortable with my, and this isn't saying that this person has all of these things, but you know, I'm comfortable with my disconnected relationship. I'm comfortable with my disconnected relationship with family, wife, whatever. I'm comfortable with playing small in my business. I'm comfortable with not having the amount of money that I want in my life. So I'm going to be as bold as to say that there are certain parts of me that don't really trust people fully that won't do this. Now, I'm not talking about jumping into a cold plunge like this. You can work your way up to this. You don't have to jump into this thing and sit in there for 12 minutes. But if you're telling me that you don't want to stand in a shower for 10 seconds with the cold turned on, I'll be as bold as saying that I don't trust people like that. Because where else are you going to shy away when things get hard? Where else are you going to not lean into a conversation that needs to be had, whether it's with your partner or with yourself? That's the truth. And now I understand the thought process behind it, though, because it's hard. Like, I've done this probably 150 times now, this cold plunge, and it doesn't get easier. There's still the same thoughts every single time. It's just that you know that it won't kill you, number one, and number two, you know how you will feel when you get out of it. Your body's just pumping. The blood's flowing back to all of your extremities. There's something, you can't even describe it. You have to experience it. And now people can argue all they want about, like, oh, that's a cult movement, all of that breathwork stuff and the cold plunging. Those people are crazy. But have you ever heard of anybody dying sitting in a cold bath for 90 seconds? And now I'll tell you this too. I was at a Wim Hof experience back in December, and there was a guy that only lasted about 20 seconds in there. And he actually went in and did it a second time, and he lasted maybe about 40 seconds that time. And he was talking about how, like, he had these, like, really sharp pains in his legs, like all the way up and down his legs. And Yadi, the guy that was leading it, asked him, like, do you have any kind of skin conditions or something? And he's like, yeah, no, I got, like, eczema on my legs and stuff. He's like, that's what it is. Wherever you're inflamed, you're going to feel that pain. And now you can give into that pain and say, well, I can't do that. Or you can recognize that that's how powerful you are. You have the ability to channel your energy to anything that might be ailing you and to heal yourself. And the cold amplifies what is wrong with you. It really does. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not somebody that claims to have gone through all of the trainings and all of that kind of stuff and can speak to it, but I do know my truth. And about a year and a bit ago, I did this for the first time, and I lasted about 30 seconds on my deck in West Kelowna with about -7 weather with snow coming down, and yeah, I couldn't even breathe. It was just, it was painful. It was horrible. But I got in the next day because I was committed to creating change in my life, and I knew that that would be one thing that I could lean into to say, if I can do something as hard as this, then I can lean into that difficult conversation. Then I can lean into that feeling that I have when I want to go to my phone, when I should be paying attention to my kids and playing Lego on the ground. Because when we make a commitment to ourselves, using that as an example, and we let ourselves slip on it, we've lost all momentum that we might have built. These things are not hard. The stuff that we're talking about doing together in the Extremely Conscious Man Inner Circle, they're not extremely hard things, but they do require a commitment. And they do require you to remove the stories in your head about what you think you can and can't do. Because everything that you desire, the life you desire, the money you desire, the relationship you desire, all of it is available to you by leaning into the uncomfortable. It is. And that's everything I'm going to say on that. And now I'm going to get into this cold plunge because I can see that it's nice and chilly now. I got a couple of big chunks left in there, but the rest of the ice is all melted now. So it's nice and chilly. So hopefully that still works. Yeah, there we go. It's not the best angle, but it's going to work. Okay. Oh yeah, we dropped it down. That's got to be about 8 degrees now. Big bug. mosquitoes. Yeah, I'm gonna get this head under. It's not the biggest tub, as you can see. But it does the job. And yeah, the other thing that I'll say about this, and I'll just reference the call that we had today, because we have 12 guys that are curious about joining us in the inner circle, and I believe we have about 6 that are already like all in. Like they're in. They're committed. They've put down their first payment to be able to be a part of this. They understand what we're doing. They know that their investment is actually going towards their ticket to a future experience, which is exciting because now there's an anchor to what we're working towards, and everybody knows that that's there. It's that destination, that milestone that we all seek and desire as humans. And now we get to lean in and truly embrace and understand that it's not even about the destination. It's about the journey. And the work that we will all commit to together begins now. In the next 2 weeks, we will be onboarding everybody, which just means that we will be dropping them an assessment tool, which allows them to score themselves in different areas, different pillars of wealth, as I refer to it, areas of life. We will have a one-on-one commitment call, which will have them declare what they want to create every single month at the start of the month. And then we will create micro actions that they will commit to, and they will track on a daily basis, and everybody will have exposure to it. And therefore, they can choose what they want to do. If they don't want to follow through on it, they don't have to. But now they've got a tribe. They've got a crew. They've got a band of brothers that are going to say, you said you wanted that. You want to be this way. But yet your actions are not aligning with that. And that excites the shit out of me, because I know of lots of people that talk about the life that they say they want, but they don't actually move in that direction with their actions. And I'm talking very granular, like the things that I already discussed at the start of this video. If you say you want a better relationship with your kids, do you put your phone away at 6 p.m. every day and don't look at it again until the kids go to bed, before you maybe check in quickly before you so that you're prepared for your day the next day? It's just an example of what a micro commitment might look like. Turn your phone off at 6 p.m. Don't turn it back on until the kids go to bed. It's not easy for some people. It's uncomfortable. It's like sitting in a cold plunge. And that's just one example. What we will do is we will declare what we want to create, and then we will support each other to create the micro actions, and then we will go to work. And we won't see the benefits of most of it right away, but we get to show up every day, and that's the whole point of all of this. Yeah. Oh, it excites me. It's going to be so amazing. And some of the things that we have planned for the next experience retreat, oh my God. Today, Mike and I aligned that there will be a mycelium pathways experience as a part of the next experience, which in other terms is, it's a 12-hour mushroom experience. If a person chooses to partake in that. If they choose not to, then they can still be a part of the experience, and the sound healing and the music and and the ceremony and everything to do with that. We were on the fence on whether or not we wanted to include that in our next retreat. And within the last 48 hours, we both aligned saying, yes, we do. We want to experience it together, Mike and I, and we want to have other people with us that are a part of this journey also do that, because we know how magical it is. So some people might not like it. Other people, it might be the thing that makes them go, F yes, I'm in. Either way, I'm okay with it, because I know what stage I'm at in my journey, as does Mike, and we want to surround ourselves with other people that want to be a part of that as well. So I'm going to dunk myself once more, and then I'm going to get out, and I'm going to go eat dinner and hang out with my kids. Thank you for watching. I saw a few people pop in and out as I was doing this one today. My question to you is, do you lean in when things get uncomfortable? Or do you run away and say, I don't do that. That's not my thing? Because the people you love want you to lean in to those uncomfortable things. They do. And quite frankly, you will be a better man or woman for doing those things. Appreciate you. Have a great night. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Trevor Turnbull Show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider subscribing on my YouTube channel, as well as on your favorite podcast platform. So until next time, remember, today is a beautiful day of opportunity. Trust that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So be grateful, be curious, and be brave.